number 4 equals sign, turn it into a double slit experiment, equals 4. The double slit experiment is actually the dividing line between physical or ethereal or spiritual, the non-physical, and physical. On the other side of it, you got the number 6, so it's 4, 5, 6. Probably not explaining this correctly, but the equal sign is the number that refers to the number 5, the divine. The 5 factor, the 1.618, the golden mean spiral comes out of the pentagon and the pentagram, all linked to the divine number. So 4, 5, 6 is the numeric sequence. So the particle travels through the equal sign, which is the double slit experiment, and becomes energy on the other side.
That's amazing.
Even in Einstein's theory, you've got this encoded message. It's right in there. But when you take it a bit further, the largest particle that was used in the double slit experiment is known as a buckyball. The buckyball consists of 60 carbon atoms, number 6. When you work with this stuff, you work with sliding scale, decimal point slides. It's floating point. It's called floating point arithmetic. So 6 or 60 or 60,000 is all the same number. It comes down to number 6. So you got a 60 carbon little soccer ball of tiny little nanoparticle. And what is the atomic number of carbon? 6 as well.
Okay.
And the buckyball consists of 20 hexagons and 12 pentagons. 20, 12.
Ah.
Okay. Now, I've already mentioned that the hexagon represents physical matter. 5 is the number of the divine. 20, 12 are linked together. All hallucinogenic drugs, all the major hallucinogenic drugs like DMT, consist in the molecular structure of a hexagon and a pentagon attached to each other. You leave the physical realm to climb the axis moon into the spiritual realm, the number 5. These things are so deeply encoded, it's spectacular when you start looking at it. And this is all directly linked to the stone ruins in South Africa, believe it or not.
So, simply said, M equals E?
Exactly. Mass equals energy.
Mass equals
energy.
So
both ways.
we are in our human form. We go to the divine, which is our spirit world, which equals we're back to the energy space. So
I'd like to just end on the 2012 thing, just to put people's fears at rest.
Okay.
There are various things I believe can happen, and they're also linked to the fractal nature of reality, the fractal nature of the universe, the fractal nature of space-time, the fractal nature of frequency itself. And when you start looking at the fact that every frequency has its own fractal nature, it becomes a little weird, right? But the 2012 principle really shows us, I believe it tells us that when we reach that time, we will consciously become comfortable with the ability to cross over from space-time into time-space, and it's not going to freak us out. I believe that's part of the message and information that's encoded in this thing. And the buckyball double slit experiment, I believe, screams that at us.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will understand what it's all about, that you can cross from this one paradigm to the other, that at this stage we really struggle with.
Wow. That's phenomenal. But you know, when you're talking about this, what's going through my mind is the human experience, and how when we get to that point, to the dying place, and you watch people go through this transition, that they're almost resigned to what's going on. It's almost like they have that understanding. So it's like they get to experience that place that you're talking about, that equal sign, that number 5, where they consciously become aware of what's in the 6.
Yeah.
So I think that's so fascinating.
Well, what I find fascinating is that it's my discoveries in the stone circles in South Africa, this vanished civilization, that pulls all the stuff together.
Wow. Because
you've got to go looking for answers. You know, clearly all the other history books that have been written until now have just been putting out disinformation or you know, untruths or half-truths or information that's based on very little scientific evidence. Now we got scientific evidence that millions of stone circles, there's more than 10 million of these stone circles there. So we're dealing with a vast population. We're dealing with agricultural terraces that cover more than 450,000 square miles.
Oh my gosh.
So we're dealing with a vast, vanished civilization that were clearly in control of what was going on. They were feeding huge amounts of people. huge amounts of these stone circles, generating energy using sound as the source, just like all ancient civilizations tell us. The origins of the universe in Christianity is sound. It was the voice of God that created the universe. God said, "Let there be light." And Aum, and the Om in Hinduism is the primordial creative source, which is the sound of the divine creative being. The Egyptians tell us that the universe was sung into creation. And when you start pulling this all together, you realize that there's the sound that seems to be the primordial source of all things in the universe, that manifests itself as matter. And this becomes beautiful when you start playing with that and the cymatic shapes and so forth.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? We're running out of time. Can you believe that? Do you want to give your information so everybody knows where to contact you and so forth, and how they can get your beautiful books?
Right. Thank you very much. I've got two websites that you can go to. One is zuluplanet.com. That's ZULUplanet.com. And then slavespecies.com. That should be easy enough.
Okay.
And then for my American tour, if people want to know where I am, we still have several cities. I think we're halfway through now. So we've probably got about 15 cities to go still. Go to michaeltillinger.blogspot.com. Or on the other website, you can just click on the banner for the USA and Canada tour, and it'll tell you where I'm going to be next.
Super. Well, I'd like to give you a little bit of information on the Paranormal Connection. We air the first and third Monday of the month. Monday, 9 p.m., Tuesday, 1 p.m., Wednesday at 5 a.m. So we hope you can join us. If you'd like to contact me, my email address is donnasjourney@sbcglobal.net, and my name is spelled D-A-N-N-A, so donnasjourney@sbcglobal.net. I keep all the information on my guests. I have a blog. It's paranormal-connection-donna-blogspot.com. You can always Google my name and Paranormal Connection, and you're gonna get all the information you need on the blog spot and the show. So you can always go that route. So we've got just a couple minutes before we have to end the show, but we're going to be doing a part 2. So if you're enjoying Michael Tillinger, come back and we're going to have more information for you. So in a minute or so, how would you like to wrap up what we've been talking about?
I'd like to wrap up by saying that we seem to be reaching an interesting conclusion to some sort of an ancient prophecy, as the end days will be like the first days, and as above, so below. And in our desperate state as a species, a deeply divided species on this beautiful planet that we're destroying at a rapid rate, we're suddenly learning some important lessons from this vast vanished civilization from our very early origins. And I think it's important that we look at this very quickly, because I don't think we've got much time left, and start embracing new philosophies, how to move ahead as a species, working in unity towards our survival as opposed to working against each other, which is what we have been doing so spectacularly well for a long time.
Great. Well, everything makes sense to me. I hope that it's all making sense to you. And please, people can contact you and ask questions, can't they?
Absolutely. My email is simple. On my website, you can email me. Otherwise, it's michael@zuluplanet.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming by and sharing this information with us. And I hope everybody out there is going to tune in for the second part of the show. Thank you to my fabulous crew who came out on a spur of a notice. We love you guys, and spread the love, Get some of this information under your belt. And as Michael said, please don't be afraid. That's the biggest thing we need to overcome is our fears. And I think that's beautiful advice, philosophy.
Thank you very much, Danna.
Thank you so much.